Hey, how is everybody? How are you doing? I have had a very busy day. I'm like just trying to decompress myself and my mind and waiting for Natalie to come online so we can do a little interview with my friend Natalie, who is a classical singer. She was in... Hello. Here she is. Is it working? Is it working? Yes!
Hey!
Working!
I think
always
I've done
have
it right.
a slight breakdown when I have to do this in case of technical problems because I've had enough of them. How are you?
I'm good, my love. How are you?
Very good, very good.
You look fab as always.
Thank you. So do you. I've just got the ring light in full effect, mate, because I need it.
So do I.
Listen, I don't know about you, but run up to Christmas is so manic. Even this year.
Yeah, it's been crazy, I have to say, and obviously with lockdown, not having time to do things, it's all just gone crazy now, hasn't it?
I know, mental, absolutely mental. So, do you want to? So basically, you're on Moms at Rave. I don't know if you follow us because I follow you from Moms at Rave.
I do, of course I do.
Oh, wicked! Hi everyone. Hi people that are joining.
Hi everyone that's joining.
Yeah, so I just started doing these Raven chats basically. First of all, I used to DJ a bit, but then you know how Instagram hate DJs. So now I don't even bother with that. I just do the questions.
Okay,
so I don't
fair
want
enough.
any takedowns and no haterade from Instagram. And basically what I do with every guest is the first question is just to sort of introduce yourself to anyone watching, to say what you do and how long you've been a mom, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'm Natalie Edwards. I have 2 children. My daughter is 8 years old and my son is 11.
Wow.
So yeah, it's nuts. I can't actually believe I've got an 11-year-old. I don't know how that happened.
I remember him when he was a little boy.
Yeah, when he was like tiny, right? Yeah, he is big old man now, so that he feels, telling me what to do and everything else. So yes, that's great. I also do classical singing, so I sing at weddings mainly. Oops, sorry.
Oh, hello.
Technical hitch there, phone fell down. So yeah, I do classical singing. I sing at weddings, but obviously this year things have all gone a little bit tits up and all the weddings that I was singing at were cancelled or postponed. So it's been challenging to say the least, but still here fighting and ready for next year when things hopefully can go back to a little bit of normality.
Well, that's what I love about you, because you are like, you're just a warrior woman. Whenever something's like not popping on over there, it's like you've already hustled over there to make something happen.
Yeah.
And I can identify with that. Do you think that's because you started out in music?
Yeah, I would say definitely, because, you know, I'm lucky enough to have been in the music industry. I was in a girl band back in 2000 and 2001, actually. And, you know, with music, you have to be able to flip the script at any point. So for me, you know, I was lucky enough to be signed, but then one of the members left, so we had to get someone else. And then our record company was going mad, and, you know, just things were not easy. So you have to learn to jump on the next thing. You know, our record company went bust. What are we going to do? You can't stop. You just got to keep going. Then I fell into backing singing and, you know, other things along the way. You know, you have to survive ultimately. You know, coming from a single parent family, from a South London council estate, you know, we were just taught to survive. So that's
well,
all
I always thought you were very posh, to be honest.
Oh, well, thanks. Thanks. That'll be because it's so funny. When I went to school, there was a teacher and she always taught us, when you speak properly, people will take you seriously. And it stuck with me from about 8 years old.
Wow.
And that's why.
That's incredible. Well, I get taught I get told all the time my accent is all over the shop. And it's because I'm Scottish, so I flip into Scottish sometimes. I'll be like, all right, hen.
Yeah.
I'm like fully Scottish. That's where I was born and brought up until I was 11.
Yeah.
And then I moved to England and no one could understand a word I was saying.
No.
So I sort of like assimilated, do you know what I mean? Because they're always telling you you're speaking wrong.
Yeah.
And then, so now I've got like this weird mashup, and then I spend a lot of time in America as well. I'm determined not to take on any like mid-Atlantic weird accent. But yeah, I wish this country didn't have such a fixation with how you speak, but it is a big thing.
It is a big thing. Yeah.
But so you getting dropped from a record label, how old were you when that happened?
I was 20.
Wow.
19.
And even the excitement of being signed is like, I can't even imagine at that age dealing with that. And then the roller coaster ride of then being dropped must have been horrific.
Oh, it was awful. So I was signed. I was 17 years old when I got signed. Obviously had a great time in the band, loved the girls, you know, I had experience that I never thought I'd have in my life. So it was absolutely unreal. Then basically we got dropped because the record company went bust. You know, there was no Adele Records anymore. So that was that. And literally my whole life just changed in front of my eyes. And it was just like, what do you do now? So, yeah, that was a really, really hard experience, you know, very, very difficult. But you just got to get through these things.
Yeah. And how do you think that formed you as an adult?
Yeah, without a doubt, because I quickly realised that I'd had it quite easy in the fact that, you know, I started off as a dancer. So I started off as a dancer. I was really good all-rounder. I just wanted to be in musicals. And I was that annoying child that I'd always come first, second or third. I'd always get that medal. I'd always win that festival or I'd win that competition. And then all of a sudden, I got this amazing record deal. I was 17 years old. I left college to be a pop star, you know, and all of a sudden, that wasn't going to happen.
Oh, wow.
So
was that the first big disappointment you really had where you can remember
it was
being
the
chosen one?
Major blow for me as a performer that I've ever had, and probably the worst one I've ever had, to be honest.
Yeah, because as you get more and more as well, you kind of realise you've got to roll with the punches, and then the disappointments, and you don't put too much expectation or trust on too many people because it happens so much, doesn't it?
So much.
Even just going to castings and things like that, like it will just,
yeah,
it's just constant like knockbacks in our game, isn't it?
Constant knockbacks. And you know, I did keep trying. I did keep trying the whole time, you know, and then you kind of get to a point and you think maybe this isn't for me. So I went through all of those emotions.
Yeah.
You know, and thought, well, maybe I'm not supposed to be a singer. Maybe I'm not supposed to be a performer. Maybe I should just be normal, you know. And so I found myself in that situation at quite a young age as well.
Wow. And then how old were you when you had your son? Oh, no, I don't really want to like ask ages.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I was 25 when he was born in August, and then I turned 26 in the October.
So these days, that's like considered quite a young mum, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite young. And it's so funny because even now in the playground, I'm one of the youngest mums, which I find amazing.
I'm one of the oldest.
That's okay, my darling.
I know, I don't give a shit. Yeah, so yeah, because you sort of like lived already kind of 3 or 4 lives by the time you were having your kids.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And I was married.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got married when I was 23.
Blimey.
So I felt like I went through so much in my lifetime, but I was still 25, nearly 26. Hey, Sophie, how are you?
Do you think, because all the artists that I know and singers, they're all kind of like that. I think it's because the industry makes you believe that if you haven't been signed and you haven't had a hit by the time you're 18, 19, 20, that's it for you. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? It's especially for women, I think. It's not like that for guys, but for women, there's a lot of pressure
a lot of
to do
pressure.
everything young and to be
Yeah,
successful really young. And it's kind of a lie that we're told.
absolutely. Because, you know, now more than ever, you know, I'm 37. I'm just getting started.
You look about
Like,
12, so.
I just know. Oh, well, thanks. I just feel like there's so much more to come, you
Yeah.
know, and I'm literally just getting started, and there's so much I want to do. There's so much I've achieved even in the last year, that it can only get better. And I wish I could go back and speak to my 20-year-old
I was going to
self.
say that, like, what advice would you give to your younger self? Because it's probably very
Yeah,
relevant for younger women in music and moms, you
yeah.
know?
I would honestly say everything happens at the right time, you know, and you're never too old, you're never too young, but you're never too old, you know, and
Yeah.
something can come and change your life just like that, you know, and wait for those moments. Don't rush things, because ultimately when we rush into things, we normally make mistakes.
Oh, do you think? Oh,
Yeah,
that's a little gem right there, isn't it?
I really do think that. I think when you think through something properly, you
Yeah.
have a plan,
Yeah.
you can only win ultimately, you know. And
Well,
running before you walk, it doesn't always
I'm a
work. It doesn't.
very instinctive person, so I do everything off how it feels. And even though
Okay.
I do go against how, like, my gut sometimes with people, and then I'm always proved right. I'm
Yeah,
like, why did I not listen? I gave them a chance. I knew they were going to be a fuck up, but I still gave them a chance.
yeah,
But I think sometimes, because I'm very, like, I like to over prepare,
yeah,
I feel like I need to just jump in more sometimes without preparing. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
Because otherwise I can be over analytical. And
Yeah,
sometimes when you do that and you're a perfectionist and you want everything to be perfect all the time, there's
yeah,
no right time. So you just got to sometimes go for it.
yeah. And that I do agree with, but I think that there's taking a risk, there's jumping in, you know, there's lots of different ways you can do things. I'm not saying don't take a chance, because I've
Yeah.
taken many a chance. However, what I've realized now, being the age that I am and all the things that I've been through, it's the things where I took a little bit more time that
Right.
have worked out in my favor.
Would you say you're quite impulsive?
Naturally, yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Okay,
But
got you.
I feel like that's performers, isn't it?
Yes,
You
because
know,
my best friend is a singer and she's like that. She's just
yeah,
like, I'm going to do that tomorrow at
yeah,
6 a.m. And I'm like,
yeah,
what? What the hell? Or she'll wake up one day and it'll be a totally new plan. And I'm like, I can't keep up with this.
yeah,
Um, it's funny though. I love that. I love that kind of characteristic in people.
mm,
I find it, it's a fearlessness, isn't it? And I think
yeah,
artists and singers have to be fearless, because you get up in front of people and no one really knows what that takes to get in front of people. It's hard.
yeah, yeah. And actually, I've realised more in the last few months in meeting lots of different people. Putting yourself out there, being honest and open, is one of the hardest things people find to do.
Yeah.
But for me, I find it so easy because I've done it for such a young age. So
Yeah.
it just comes completely naturally to me. But I've met so many people that are like, oh my God, I could never do that. You're doing, you know,
Well, I think also artists and musicians and stuff, we sort of put our hearts on our sleeves when we put out work.
yeah,
And there's always someone that's going to just immediately go, oh, I hate that shit.
yeah,
And so you just get used to that, don't you? And so it makes you more thick-skinned and more bold, I think, in a way.
yeah, yeah,
I
without
mean,
a
I
doubt.
went to art college, and my whole 3 years or 4 years doing my degree was just old artist guys telling me that my work was shit and me having to defend it constantly. Like
Oh, it's
literally a whole
awful.
room, all your peers in a room, put your painting, and they would just tear it to shreds, like for, a good 20 minutes or something. And you'd
Yeah,
have to defend yourself. And if that doesn't give you balls of steel, like I hated it and they were arseholes, but it does give you a kind of thicker skin, I
thick
guess, to
skin.
realize what it's like out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my next question,
Yeah.
what is your signature style? Like, I know when you go and do classical gigs, you
Yeah.
wear the most amazing dresses and like full length ball gowns and stuff. So where does that all come from? Is that like how you love to dress, or was it like always something that you
So
like to do, is to dress up? And
for me, I love dressing up.
right,
I love that out, full on ball gown. Like, I love it. When else am I going to wear a dress like that?
it's
It's
true.
just not going to happen. So it's my one time in life, in my performances, where I know I can dress up in the most outrageous bridal gowns, a lot of them are, and nobody questions it, so I'm just like, yes,
I
I
love
am
that. I had
rocking
this
that
chat
dress.
with Khalees about, because I'm not really a wedding person and I don't really like wearing ball gowns and gowns. I'm like,
Yeah.
give me a a good rock and roll type suit or something.
Yeah.
But she was saying, well, the reason why you don't really care about that stuff is because you get to dress up on stage all the time in crazy outfits. So
Yeah.
it's not like your one big day where you're going to wear this outfit and, it's your big moment. Like, you get to do
Yeah.
that all the time. So
Yeah.
she was like, allow them, like, let them wear their ball gowns. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I love it. But I mean, in my everyday life, obviously, I don't go round in a beautiful evening dress. I think my style has changed over the years.
That's what I was going to
Now,
ask you next.
yeah, I think when I was younger, I was all about ripped jeans, and I used to customize like every single outfit that I had. I'd be putting on gems, I'd be sewing patches and doing the most outrageous things. And I loved it. I'd be throwing paint at t-shirts and all these different things, particularly when I was in times four. Then I think I kind of went a bit classic. Then I went through that whole cowgirl stage where everything I wore was with a cowboy boot. I
I
still love
still
them
love a good
now.
cowboy boot.
Oh, I love a cowboy boot.
Me too.
And I think now, it really depends on where I am, who I'm with, and where I'm going
What?
with how I dress.
I'll tell you one thing I noticed about you, and it's the opposite to me. You're always immaculate. Like, you
Well,
always look very polished, very put together,
yeah.
very ladylike, I think.
Yeah, I have. I'm a little bit like that. I do like to look nice. I don't ever want to be walking out the house looking like a hot mess. Because I always think, oh my God, the mums, they're gonna look at me at the school gates and they all think I'm nuts anyway because I'm the most outrageous one probably of everyone in the school. And my dyed blonde hair and all of that. So I feel like I have this persona that I have to kind of keep up in a way, so I can't be going out there looking like a hot mess.
So would you do, because I would never ever do this, but would you do like pajamas on the school run?
Hell no.
Me too. I couldn't. I couldn't.
No, I couldn't do it. I couldn't
I
do
don't
it.
even go, I would never even go to the shop without a jean and a cute shoe. Like, I can't.
Yeah, no, that's like too far for me. Because of COVID, I've been loving the whole loungewear, but I'll throw on like my animal mint trainers to make me look a bit more there,
Jazz it up
but
a bit.
yeah, apart from that, you're not going to see me in the pajamas.
No, I would never ever. I'm not like not knocking anyone that's got the confidence to do that, but I just feel like it's so easy to put on a jean and a shoe. And the thing is, if I get dressed in the morning, I get dressed for the whole day, no matter what I'm doing. If I'm staying at home, I more or less wear the same thing as if I'm going out to meetings.
Yes,
Because
absolutely.
it just makes me feel better because I work for myself at home. So I'm like,
yeah.
Is that one of your children?
No.
Oh, I heard a noise. Usually mine runs in because he always wants to be on the camera. Don't know where he gets it from.
I'm sure one of them will be in any minute, actually. I was thinking it's a bit too quiet.
What advice would you give to a mum that's like lost their mojo?
Right. So for me, I started, and you know, a lot of people will probably think I'm crazy, but I just started putting myself first. So that meant that I was getting ready for me. I wasn't leaving myself to the last minute. I'm going, well, actually, no, I'm going to get myself dolled up. I'm going to make myself look good. I'm going to put on a nice outfit. And what I used to do, particularly when my children were quite young and where it's quite easy to stay at home, not do very much, not get dressed till 4 o'clock because the babies are going crazy. I used to go to the shops, but accidentally on purpose forget something. So it meant the next day I had to go out and I had to do those things. It kind of just, for me, got my confidence back a little bit, gave me purpose.
Yeah.
And what I actually did was not make my life about my children. And I think a lot of mums, it's really easy to do that. And don't get me wrong, I love my children. I do everything for them. But ultimately, it's me. It's about me. And I tell my children the truth. I go, do you know what? You have to go to bed at this particular time because mummy needs her time.
Oh, I completely fucked up on that one.
Right. Okay. But I literally did that from the minute my son was born. I was like, 7 o'clock, he is in his room. And he has been like that forever, you know. And like now, I'll say, I remember a few weeks ago, my children actually, unfortunately, caught COVID. They were completely fine, by the way, so they were great. Okay. But what they were doing for me, they were cleaning up the living room for me, putting all the sofa back, as it were, and they went, well, mummy, it's 8 o'clock now, so it's your time.
Oh, you've trained them well.
But that's because I've done that from a really, really young age. And for me, that kind of got my mojo back, because I knew come 8 o'clock or 7:30, whatever it was me time. So whether that would be chatting on the phone to my friends, catching up, booking something online, doing something for me, that's all I needed to do. I also have always made the time to see my friends, go out, do the normal things Natalie that would have done before.
Yeah, because I tell you what, when I was pregnant and we were doing W Hotel every Wednesday, you would always be there. And it always, you and Jamelia would always give me hope that, like, oh, yeah, well, nothing's going to change when I'm a mom. Like, look at them. They're out having fun. They look amazing. They're partying. And then when I had the baby, I went to Jamelia, I'm so annoyed at you. You didn't tell me how hard it is. And she was cracking up. I was like, no, mate, this is like next level sleep deprivation. Yeah. And she was just laughing. But like, you guys were out all the time, and it kind of like, I was like, yeah, that's the kind of mom I want to be, you know? Yeah.
And also, you got to remember, you know, like I'm 37.
Yeah, and you were only like 30 then, maybe, or 32 or something.
Probably. And it's just like, I still want to go out and have fun. I still want to see my friends. I still want to do all those things. So I made a conscious decision to keep Natalie at the forefront, you know. And yes, I'm mummy as well, but I'm Natalie, and I wanted my friends and you know, family members, my work colleagues, I wanted them to see me as Natalie, not Marley's mum, not Ava's mum.
Yeah, and hi everyone that's joining, by the way.
Hi.
And that is one of the main things behind Mums at Rave. That's what it's all about, is not losing yourself. Yeah. And not having to give up things like that because you're a mum. Like, you can still party, you can still rave, you can still wear a sequin, you can still go out with your mates and act the fool. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to give up any of that stuff.
Yeah. And I think other people make you feel guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, hang 100%. On, but you're going out. Well, why are you doing that? Are you going on holiday and you're not taking your children? Yes, I am, actually, because I'm a human being and I'm allowed.
It's amazing.
But that's what I find, especially when my children were younger. They'd be like, "Oh, but where are your children? My mum's looking after them." Oh,
brilliant.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, Granny loves it and the kids love it, and it's all bonding. They love it.
Do you know what I've realised as well? When I'm away from my children, they miss me.
Yeah, and they don't take you for granted, I'm sure.
Yeah. And you know
we've had a lot of bonding time this year, haven't we?
Absolutely. We've had a bit too much bonding time. But, you know, It's been yeah, but no, that's been a that would be my advice. You know, I understand you become a parent. I get that, and I know the job as a mother is one of the hardest jobs, but you are still a human being, you know,
And
and
it's also maybe because it's thankless a lot of the time. Like you
it
do
is.
all this stuff and we, you know, do everything in our heart for our children the most, like probably
Yeah,
go over the top. And then a lot of times you don't really get any thanks and you're absolutely knackered. And, you know,
yeah,
that's the difference, isn't it? If you
yeah,
work really hard on other things, you do get a lot of thanks and result. I mean, the end result is having amazing human beings, basically.
absolutely.
But, you know, a lot of times you can kind of feel a little worn down, I think.
You can, and I don't know where I ever got this from, but I suddenly thought, quite a few years ago now, I thought, do you know what? Your children get older and they leave you.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
No,
They
mine's never
have
leaving.
they have a life. He's gonna leave you, darling. He's gonna leave you, and they have a life, and they have their own families. What do you have? If
Yeah.
you have given everything to your children, everything's about them, you don't have a great network of friends because everything has been about your kids, you're screwed. And I don't want to be that mum of 60 years old and I'm just sitting on my own. And then I'm literally hounding my children
Yeah.
because I don't have a life. I've got no one else.
Well, you might be out raving with them. You never
Well,
know.
I definitely want to be doing that.
I mean, I might be at this rate.
You will.
So I'll be the embarrassing DJ mother that I am right now. So on that note of 2020 and hanging out with your kids, how have you managed to stay sane and happy this year?
So being honest, you know, and saying, I'm not okay right now. Actually, this is a massive change for me, for you. And I'm finding this hard, you know,
Right.
just being honest. Because one thing I've always been with my children is that, you know, if I'm not feeling good, if I'm feeling down, if I'm tired, I tell my children. And so they know me inside out as I do them. We have had some great times together during COVID. I have to say, I've been lucky because my normal day job, I'm actually a key worker. So I've been lucky enough for the children to go to school for part of the day. And that was my way, I think, to be honest, of keeping sane.
Right. Yeah,
um,
because you had, like me, I guess, all your gigs cancelled for the whole year.
Everything was gone. Literally.
Yeah, me too.
I did my last job about 3 days before lockdown, and that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. And as a self-employed
Yeah.
person, I was
Huge
literally like,
culture
oh,
shock.
what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
You know, and I kept going, oh, it'll just be a few months. Look, we're in
Yeah, I
December
know.
now.
Well,
We're still not out of it.
do you know what? I thought it was going to be, I was predicting that clubs and festivals would come back at the end of 2021. That's what I've always thought.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And Khalees and I were on tour in March, and she was like, they're going to shut down all the airports. I need to get out of Europe and get back to America. And I was like, maybe it's not going to be that drastic. And then literally all of us had to run to different countries to fly back home before they started closing borders and stuff. And then at that point, I was like, yeah, this is going to get worse and worse and worse. And then I caught it for we think, second time.
Right.
So, yeah, and then it's gone on and on and on. I had long COVID for months and months and months. But realistically, I was just like, I don't believe that everything's going to be all right by January, February. It's just not.
Yeah.
There's no way. And clubs can't open.
Yeah,
and everyone
no.
was telling me they will, and festivals are happening. I am still not comfortable with that.
Convinced.
I
Yeah.
think it's going to be end of 2021 that we might see a resurgence of clubs and festivals.
Yeah,
But
see,
I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah,
But that's what
so
I called
scary.
from ages ago. So yeah, it's like you got to hustle in different directions now, right?
Got to. I mean, like for me, the weddings that have been postponed, my next wedding would be in April. I don't know if that's even going to go ahead at the moment.
Yeah. It's
So,
so tough.
I had to flip the script. Like we were saying earlier, you have to learn that you've got to do other things,
Yeah.
particularly in a time like this, because I can sit all day online singing, but ultimately no one's paying me for that,
Yeah, that's
so
right. And that's what a lot of people, I mean, people have got so used to musicians and DJs and singers just doing stuff for free now online. They kind of
yeah,
expect it, and in America it's different because all the DJs I knew there were all making loads from tips every night because America's a tipping culture. So
yes,
anyone that was going on lives was just cash apping and tipping people.
yeah,
So people were making quite good livings doing that, and they still are. But
yeah,
in this country, even if you try to charge for a Zoom, people will be like, well, why aren't you doing it for free? So
yeah.
yeah, it's very, very hard for musicians and DJs and performers right now, for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the majority of my friends are in the same industry,
Yeah,
and it's been tough. It's been
yeah,
really, really tough for everyone.
yeah.
Everyone.
Well, let's hope that I don't really want to get political, but they stop effing things up now. Because
Yeah,
everything they've done has just been like the complete opposite from everyone else that's getting it right. But
yeah.
anyway, so now is the time that we go on to the Mums at Rave quickfire questions.
Okay.
And I think these are, pretty much keep them similar for everyone. Sometimes I drop in little other things, but they're really easy. So you just can't do the first thing that comes into your head, like either or.
Okay.
So the first one is flowers or fragrance?
Flowers.
Flowers, okay. Lunch with Little Kim or a night out with Meg the Stallion?
Night out with Meg the Stallion.
A twerk off.
Twerk off. Oh,
Nice. Okay, yeah. I got it. Hi, Millie. Oh, my friend from Philadelphia's just come on.
Oh,
Hi,
hi,
by the way,
Millie.
we see you all. Thank you for coming on. Okay, the next one, mini, midi, or maxi?
Maxi.
Oh, right, okay. See, I told you were very chic.
Hey, Marley.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
I can't believe you're so big now. I remember you when you were like this big.
Yeah.
You're like a big man all of a sudden.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just styling it
The
out.
other
I
one
love
now.
it.
Got
Hello.
the other one joining us.
Hi.
All right, the next one. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. I see you all the time on your mummy's pictures. Tiger or leopard?
Tiger.
Ooh, love it. Okay. Vogue or En Vogue?
On Vogue.
Yeah, I think. But I do love a Vogue as well.
Yeah.
I do love a bit of voguing. I'm just not very good at it. Okay, block heel or stiletto?
Stiletto.
Dance
Even though
or
they
queen? I think I
kill my
know
feet.
the answer to this.
Okay.
Dance or queen or disco scene?
Disco scene.
Oh, I totally thought you'd be dancehall.
No, disco queen.
Just because whenever I used to DJ at W and play bashment and stuff, everyone used to go crazy.
I do love bashment. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, yeah. Oh no, I can't do this one. Are the kids still there?
Off you go, guys. Good night.
Squats, salad, or sex? Okay. Yeah, every single person that I've had on has said that one. No one likes the squats. Baggy or bodycon?
Good night.
Bodycon.
Oh, okay. I'm down for baggy right now after 2020.
I mean, to be honest, because of COVID, right now it's all about baggy.
Yeah, me too.
Deep down, I love a bodycon.
I know you look absolutely amazing in bodycon. You're like one person that can really do that whole look.
Yeah, but maybe like last year.
Listen, girl, I'm trying to do my 10,000 steps a day right now.
I need that.
Hipster or high-waisted?
High-waisted.
But what about when you were in the girl band, though?
In the girl band, it was absolutely hipster all day long.
I know, that era, like early 2000s, boy.
Yeah, and the baggy, like, combat trousers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I used to wear string vests with mine.
Oh, yeah, me too.
You know, like a good bashment string
A
vest.
proper
Yeah.
string vest.
I
Yeah,
love a
love it.
string vest. I would still
Yeah,
wear a string vest if I could.
but I used to cut mine and make it
Oh,
like tiny. Could never do that
nice.
now.
Okay, Moschino or Chanel?
Chanel.
See, again, classic all the way, right? I'm
Classic.
Moschino I mean, I love a Chanel. I've got some Chanel bits, but yeah. Okay, two-step or Dirty Wine?
Oh, dirty wine.
Me too. I know they're the big questions that everyone wants to know. Face beat or natural chic?
Natural chic.
I told you, you're just a chic lady. That's what I think when I think of you. Is just well put together, immaculate and chic. Okay, kitchen, disco, or rave till the cops come?
Rave till the cops come all day long.
Me too. Me too. I'm missing. How much are you missing raves? Because I do.
Oh my
I mean,
God,
I work
I
in them.
miss it so much.
I know. I know. Anyone else? Like people in the comments and stuff. Moschino, yeah, me too. I love it. I love it.
Okay.
But yeah, raving. I think people underestimated how much. I love going out. I feel wrong if I've not been in a club for a week.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been hard. But I think everyone else has realised how much they love raving now.
Yeah. Do you know what I've really missed this year? Festivals.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was supposed to play Glastonbury Pyramid Stage with Khalees in the summer, and we had about 50 lined up. So yeah, there was a lot.
Wow.
A lot just went, and usually that's what I call my time off now, because it's like two mummies hanging out, but we're doing shows and we just have so much fun.
Yeah.
So I can kind of combine seeing my mate and doing festivals and just getting up to all kinds of stuff and traveling.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's like, it's the maddest year really, but
yeah,
I don't feel too distraught. That's the thing.
No, do you know what? We're happy, we're healthy, we're here, we've
Yes.
got our families, and
Exactly.
you just have to be grateful for all the things you have. And that's how I've really got through this year, if I'm honest.
There you go. Me too. I'm always more like glass half full than half empty person anyway.
Absolutely, me too.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm always thinking, right, what can I do to get around this, rather than, you know, I might sleep on it for a night and then the next day I've got an action plan kind of. That's how I deal with stuff.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, so the last question is Netflix and chill or sleep and vitamin pill?
Netflix and chill.
Okay. I've got to say I'll probably take sleep and vitamin pill right now. But that's another story. So listen, that's the end of our questions, the end of Raven Chat. Thank you so much for coming on. You've been epic. Oh, no, there's one more thing I got to talk about. Your present drive for the kids.
Yes.
That was the main inspiration why I wanted to get you on in the first place. To talk about the kids and what you do every Christmas.
Yes. So every Christmas for the last, this is I think my 9th year now, I basically get all my friends together, my family, my Facebook friends, my colleagues, anybody to help me. And what we do, we ideally put together £10 per child, and we help vulnerable children at Christmas. So I work with Action for Children, that are a really amazing charity. They help vulnerable children, and that can mean they still live with their families, but maybe their parent has been addicted in the past. Maybe they've had domestic abuse, maybe there's a disability, there's been autism, there's been something like that, and maybe they would only get one present or no presents for Christmas. So the idea was that every child that we possibly could get a present for, we would get. And I started off 9 years ago, and I started off getting 20 presents. This year, I'm up to over 100 presents.
Wow.
And, you know, I just think people want to help, but they don't know how.
Yeah.
So I do that hard work. All you have to do is give me the money. I buy everything, I wrap everything, I drop it to the charity, you know. And some people prefer to buy their own gift because they want to feel a bit more involved. Absolutely fine. Buy it, wrap it, send it to me. But it came about because of a few reasons. One was because my own family have had quite a lot of issue with substance abuse, and it meant that some of my family members were not within our family. They were actually in foster care. And what I noticed that they didn't get very many presents. And so that was the first thing. And then the second thing was I had my son, and I remember his first Christmas, and he was surrounded by presents.
Yeah.
What was he going to do with it?
Yeah.
And I just thought, I've got to give some of these presents away. This is ridiculous. And so that, coupled with my family history, made me just want to help people.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing for 9 years. And it's one of the best feelings. And I love the fact that I can get all my friends, all my family involved, and we just help people. And I always sit and think on Christmas morning about the children that are smiling because they've got a gift.
Yeah.
You know, and it's really, really close to me. And I feel like in life we're always worrying about ourselves, our families, but there's always someone worse off than you.
So true.
And so it's
true.
time to kind of put your hand in your pocket. And I'm not saying you have to give me £100 or £50, £5, £10. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
And if we all did that a little bit more, the world would be such a nicer place.
Yeah, it would.
You know, and particularly children, they don't ask to come into this world. You know, so if we can help, that's all I want to do.
Amazing. Maybe next year we can do something where we get Moms at Rave involved.
I would love that so much.
It would be cool, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I did a local one in Southeast London, and I've been dropping gifts off to like the church and then various different places.
Yeah.
Because I can't bear the thought of kids not having presents at Christmas.
No, me
I can't
neither.
bear it. It's awful.
Awful.
But yeah, maybe next year we need to, like, I'll get organised and get Moms at Rave on it and do something so that we can contribute to your drive.
Yeah, I would love that so much. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that was like, because I find that so inspiring, and you inspiring because of what you've done for so long. And I remember you doing it for so many years and being so consistent with it. That is the main reason why I wanted you to come on here, but also because you've been in the music industry and you've got such an interesting life. And, you know, I've always seen you as a mum on Instagram and someone that I could identify with, because there's not a lot of representation of women in music and mums that are, you know, out and just being themselves like you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really identify with a lot of other moms. So
yeah, that
was like one of my main reasons. But the present drive was like, I have to get her on here. Yeah, we have to talk about it.
Thank you. That means a lot, because it is really, really close to me. And I always have the question of why do you do it? And for many years I didn't actually tell the truth.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'm so happy with my life and where I am now, and I'm in such a better place, that being honest and open about my family and what we've been through, you know, I find that easy. I find it easy now, but it's taken me 37 years to get to this point, you know.
Listen, it's not easy to talk about certain experiences, and like everyone's had tough things happen to them and bad things happen at certain times. And a lot of people, you know, you don't want to go there because it takes you to a darker place and you don't want to face it. But what you've done is flip it around and turned it into the biggest positive ever, because you're now helping other kids. And just getting a present at Christmas could change a whole kid's life and outlook. You know, it sounds a bit dramatic, but
it's so true. And also their parents are under so much pressure, you know,
and they know that someone gives a shit and cares enough to help them as well.
Absolutely, because, you know, everybody struggles. Everybody has been through a time in their life they have struggled. You know, I do not believe there's a person that has had it easy all of the time, you know. So I feel like just putting yourself out there, helping, you're halfway there. You're halfway there. You may as well go the whole hog, you know, and help however many children, 100 children, because we can all do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I hope that friends have seen what I've done and have maybe done it within their area or with their family, you know, because a person that I work with said to me, do you know what I've done? I've actually spoke to my whole family and we've managed to get 10 presents and
Lovely.
I've given them to a local charity. So if I can inspire someone else to do the
You
same.
100% inspired me to do it, because I've been doing it for a few years now, but just on a smaller scale than you. And this year I kind of peer pressured my neighbours into giving some toys. I'm like, I'm going on this date, drop your presents. And then people did, you know, because if you do the running around as well, it just takes a lot of the hassle from them, doesn't it?
That's all it is. That's all it is. And for me, you know, I would prefer to spend 5 nights for 3 hours each night wrapping presents than watching Netflix. Yeah. Just for 5 nights.
Do you love giving presents? Because I love giving it. Giving people,
love it.
I love
it's
it too.
My favourite thing.
Yeah, me too.
It's my favourite thing.
Yeah. And I really love Christmas as well. So that's why I'm dressed as a bauble.
Oh, I love it. I love your bauble outfit.
You know, I mean, my whole house looks like there's baubles everywhere. It's like one giant bauble. But yeah, I really love Christmas. I love people coming together. I love Christmas spirit. And I love seeing kids open presents. So yeah, that was my motivation. But honestly, you have inspired me to do it as well. So
I love that.
That was like my main reason for like, I've got to get Natalie on and just talk about this.
Yeah. No,
so I encourage everyone to follow you, because obviously next year they can help you.
Yeah, I'd love that. You know, the more the merrier. And I just think like Action for Children in particular is a huge, huge, huge charity. And they don't just have, you know, one place or one centre. They are everywhere. So if we could come together and we could help 500 children, that's where I want to get to.
Yeah.
You know, that's where
I think that's a goal that we could probably reach.
Yeah.
If we teamed up with a few different, and especially with Instagram influencers and mum influencers, I'm sure there's a way to make it happen.
There is a way. There is absolutely a way. So yes, I'm with you on that all the way. Okay, well, let's sort something out for Mums at Rave next year. Great. Maybe we do a Mums at Rave if we can do them next year, and we donate all the proceeds to the present drive. We've got to do something. It just needs planning. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming on. Thanks to everyone that jumped on with us. Yes, it's lovely to see you all. I will post this video on the Mums at Rave page so that everyone can watch it afterwards. Amazing. And you and your family have an amazing Christmas. You deserve it because you do so much for other people. Thanks so much. And you have a fabulous Christmas too. I will try my best. Dressed as a giant bauble. Woohoo! Yeah. All right. Thanks you so much. All right. See you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.